Hi guys!
The video you've all been waiting for. Whatever, let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Wing it. Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. So today we have a really exciting video. As you can tell by the title of the video, we are gonna take you guys along on our balcony transformation. And yeah, this I think was one of our favorite projects that we've done to our new apartment. Yeah. Definitely the most dramatic. I can't take that much credit for it. I stain things, but he did most of the work and the planning and the math, and he made it work. So it's mostly you, so good job.
Thanks, man.
So when we first were looking at this place, one of the reasons why we absolutely loved it was for the balcony and the view. We're right on the river. There's like trees all around. It's so beautiful. So we wanted to really utilize it and make it a space that we loved, and we're gonna spend a ton of time. But when we first moved in, it was not so nice looking.
No, it wasn't. There was like an orange ceiling, and then the walls were like this yellow lime greenish.
It was bad.
It was super bad.
Yeah.
So then we asked our landlord if we would be allowed to paint this whole thing, and she gave us permission to paint it. And then I had to spend a lot of time on Pinterest looking for ideas.
Because we wanted it to look really beautiful, but we also wanted it to be super functional and comfortable. So that's kind of why we went with this specific design. But I think you kind of took your own creativity and kind of made it your own.
So the first step was getting rid of these ugly colors. And so we picked up some paint at the hardware store, and then we painted the whole balcony white. And
it was crazy too, even after we painted it, how big of a difference that made already.
Yeah.
And even especially doing the ceiling, it made it feel way bigger.
So the next step was I was trying to figure out how much wood do I need. I kind of like took measurements, and then we went to the hardware store.
I think we went to the hardware store many times.
Yeah, we
spent a lot of time there looking at what wood to get, what's gonna work, because I feel like that's one way you can really switch up the style, you know, if you do a thinner plank, if you do a wider plank. So we spent a lot of time going back and forth. Okay, what size do we want? How do we want this to look? So how many are you getting of this one? Do you know?
33.
33 of those, okay. So once we got home, that's when the construction started.
So the first thing I did, I took these two pieces of wood, I screwed them into the wall because I wanted to have a great support, even with the wood hanging on it. After that, I started to cut the wood for the back wall. After we let them dry, I started to put them up. I used a little piece of wood to measure the distance between the boards. Then I started building the base of the bench. I put 3 legs on one side and 4 legs on the other side, just so it's really supportive. You don't want your own bench to fall apart when your friends or your family sit on it. That would be embarrassing.
So when it came to the bench, we kind of went back and forth of how deep we wanted it to be. And again, this is going to totally depend on your space, how much space you have, and kind of what you're working with. And it also depends too, like if you want it more as a lounge, you can make it deeper. In our case, we wanted it to be more like a bench that you sit at and you can use the table at. So we wanted it to be deep enough that it was comfortable, but not too deep where you felt like there was no support. So one of the deciding factors was actually the cushions that we wanted to use. We ended up finding these cushions at IKEA, and I think they're actually meant for like those long like lounging chairs, but they ended up working perfectly for that space. So once we had chosen what kind of pillows and cushions we wanted, Chris was able to figure out exactly how big the bench needed to be to fit these pillows.
Yeah, and that's really helpful, I feel like, to have the cushions already, then you know, like, oh yeah, the
Yes.
bench is gonna be this length, or the bench should be that long. We were just talking about what should we do for the floor. We saw many cool things online with like these wood tiles and stuff. We're like, oh, that looks really cool. But then we checked the prices and they were like, oh, should we actually do it? Should we actually spend $500 on that? But then I actually found this lady online that sold their old ones, and they were pretty moldy and like super used. But
Some of them were bad.
It was super cheap. We like got all these tiles for like $20, and then we just brought them home, cleaned them up, we stained them again.
So at this point, all of the like heavy duty construction building work was complete. So one of the main features of this balcony is obviously the back wall, where we have all of these hanging herbs. We were super excited about this because one, it looks really cute, but it's also super functional. So we ended up actually finding these at IKEA in the kitchen sections, and it ended up working really well because we were just able to screw some hooks into the wall, which we had spray painted black to match the hangers, and then we just hung them up. Going with 9 of them. Again, this can vary depending on how much space you had. And one tip is you want to make sure that you're not hanging them too low. People are going to be sitting against that back wall, and you don't want like plants hanging on them or like them hitting their head and knocking them off. So you want to make sure that your plants start high enough that if someone that's tall is sitting there, it's not going to affect them at all. So like I mentioned before, these cream cushions are from IKEA, and then the throw pillows we got were actually from H&M Home. Added a nice pop of color and texture to the space.
So we bought this cute little round rug. It perfectly fits the balcony, and it hides some of the ugly tiles, and it just looks really, really cute on it. Also, we bought this table at IKEA.
So instead of doing like traditional chairs, we actually found these really cute stools from a local store here, and they act as a super functional item also. So if we have extra people over, they can sit on these cute little stools. We also added this really cute lantern just to kind of cozy up the space, as well as this gold and glass lantern that we put on the table. The
last thing we did was we found these lights at IKEA, and we just hang them around the whole balcony. So this is how we transformed our balcony from ugly to super cute.
We love how it turned out. It honestly turned out way better than I could ever imagine. In the end, it cost us about $500, which really is not bad. We're gonna use it a ton this summer, and we're super excited. Thank you guys for watching. We hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe if you want to stick around for more videos. Share this with your friends, share this with people you know, save it for inspiration.
And if you have any questions, if maybe you saw something on our balcony that we didn't mention, just ask us in the comments.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!